Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Listen Along. I'm your host, William, also the drummer for Glass Beach. And today I am very excited because we're going to be doing Untenable by Bad Moves with special guests, Bad Moves. And I have with me David, daoud, and Katie, all from Bad Moves. You can say hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Great. You can't see them. You can hear them. They are in the void until I get through the spiel at the top. If I could just... Oh, no! I forgot to pull the stream up myself so that I can see all of the wonderful people who are going to be saying things like, hello, and also hi, and oh, look, it's me, they say in the chat. Here, I've got it pulled up now. But hello, everybody. I'm sorry if I missed your chats and the things that you're going to say. Say them again. But if this is your first time joining us for this, basically what we're going to be doing is a listen through of the entirety of the album Untenable. And we are not going to be playing the music live on stream here, so you'll have to pull up a streaming platform of your choice or something. Whatever, much of a choice as it is, you'll have to pull it up and listen to the album in some way, shape, or form. We got Friendly Porpoise is here. Hi, says hello, hi, oh look, it's me. Great. Caring Lizard says, don't forget the heyas and greetings, Williams. Yes, I won't forget. And then we'll play the record. We'll talk on top of it. It'll be basically like album commentary. You know, if you ever watched or listened to a film commentary track, it's like that. And I've been told that some albums have been released with some album commentary, which is fun and cool. And so this is basically that. This video will then exist on the Second Glass Beach channel on YouTube, along with all of the other listen-alongs that I've done so far in a playlist called Listen Along. I had Angimile, Origami Angel, Pink Shift, Cheek Face, Dogleg. I've had a bunch of people on so far, and it's really wonderful. I encourage you to check those out. And then moving forward, next week I'm going to have Left at London on to cover Tiapf. And then after that, I'm going to have McKinley Dixon on, which I'm super stoked about. And then I actually have the rest of July booked out already. And I'll talk some more about those in later stuff and posting, whatever. But if you want to see anything about that, you can just follow me on Twitter, mostly. I don't really post on Instagram. I'm sorry. Okay, bringing up the image. Here we go. First, I'm not going to do that part because I have too many guests and it's hard to set that up. So visit the band camp for the band. You can do that yourself. I have it in the chat. Just type !listen and it will bring you directly to the band camp for Bad Moves. So !listen in the chat. It'll bring you to a link. You click the link, you go to Bad Moves band camp, and you can check out everything they got there. Purchase the album, purchase the merch. I encourage you absolutely to do such things. Supporting the artists that I have on this show in turn supports me, and I thank you for it. Then you can do it after as well. Don't worry about it. But then we're going to open a streaming service. I'm going to do a countdown. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1, go. That wasn't it. I'll do it later. But on go, you'll hit play, and we should be as close to synced up as we possibly could be, barring if I shared some kind of like party listen along link thing, which, you know, that might be a good idea at some point, but right now I don't do that. So anyway, !listen brings you to the Bandcamp. Pull up your streaming service. I'm going to say it now. Start pulling it up now because I have a tendency to waste a lot of time hoping that all of you have had enough time to pull up your streaming platform of choice. So with all of that said, I'm excited to get into this. Let's go to the screen so that you can see all of my guests here today. And we'll say hi to some more people in the chat. Here we go. And there they are. We have daoud. Let's see. Top left is daoud. And then we have David right next to daoud. And then below both of them is Katie inside of the Polaroid overlay thing here. So hi, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
Hey. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I'm so excited. If for those of you who don't know, this is not the first stream that Bad Moves and I have done together. Because I used to do a tabletop stream using the Monster of the Week system, and basically, like, I was taking bands and having them play bands that have to fight monsters and solve mysteries in order to play their sets and everything. And it was very fun. And having all of you on was exciting.
There were a lot more like Rob Thomas jokes last time. I'm going to predict, but we'll see, Daoud.
Starting out early. Is that technically the first one right there?
What have I done?
So far, more Rob Thomas jokes than any other kind of joke.
I have a question for the audience really quick. It's hard to level audio in OBS. It's hard to tell exactly like where my voice is compared to my guests. Can you just let me know if we are equal? If we are equal in the zone of audio, loudness, quality, that kind of stuff? And if I could get a mod to take all of those, we're being bot dumped right now. Just get rid of all of those. That would be great.
But I want to become famous.
No.
And buy followers, primes, and viewers.
No. No one can become famous. It's not allowed. Let's see. Heather from Point Nemo says, I'm on mobile. Hell yeah. And also says Glass Beach Band. Gamer1 says, love Left at London. Hell yeah. I agree. Also love Left at London.
Left at London is so funny. I gotta tune in for that one.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. I mean, Left at London's music is also very good, but
yeah. I didn't know Left at London did music. No,
and vines and what have you are those are my entry point.
Hey, that's good. I mean, if you go from there to the music, I think that's good. And even if you stay there, or if you go from the music to the other stuff. I agree, though. I didn't actually know Left at London was a Viner or like a TikToker or anything.
Pretty legendary, I'd say.
Yeah, I just knew her for the music, and then I found out afterwards, and I was like, wow, that's weird. Like, because she was very popular and still is like very popular on TikTok and stuff. Messages deleted. Thank you, Glass Beach Band, for doing that. Thank you. Caring Lizard says Monster of the Week. Gamer1 says glad I could catch the stream for once. I'm also glad. And we've been told it sounds good. And then someone says, what about NASCAR? I don't know. I don't know about NASCAR. Is that a joke for all of you?
No.
If it was.
Maybe we don't know yet.
Okay, cool. Anything y'all want to say really quick before we, get to the point where we're getting into it?
We should say, I guess, that we're missing our bassist, Emma, who sends her regards. Emma just moved and also played the very first set with a new band that she started over the winter last night. She's chilling out, but she says hello.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
It's a great show.
I mean, yeah, and a new band. Is it like, do they have anything out?
No.
It's a drone band, somewhat improvisational, but it was fantastic. They played at a spot called Rhizome outside in DC last night. Is that last night? Yeah.
That was
yeah.
Also, we should say that our record Untenable that we're going to listen to is 1 year old today. 1 year old today.
Can I say I can't believe that happened?
A year passed.
Well, no, sure, but I can't believe that it's a year today because that was unintentional when I reached out to all of you.
Oh wow!
Perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect. It's kind of amazing. I didn't even know. I didn't know until you posted it on Twitter, and I was like, "What?"
It was fated. It was meant to be.
Wow. Jacob Village says, super excited to listen to this album. First heard about Bad Moves by watching Craig of the Creek.
Yeah, we get a lot of that.
Which is great.
Love it.
We love that.
Yeah.
I love that episode too.
What a good show.
It is a great show. And all of you looked so good animated.
I agree.
They really brought out the best in us.
Okay.
They brought out some like special aspects of Doug's personality that he keeps hidden usually.
I've said this before. I got an email a day or two later from my boss's boss that just said fries should be bottomless in the subject line, and that was it.
I think we got an email through Bandcamp recently that just said fries should be bottomless.
Yeah,
and that's the name of our third
generational
full-length
watchword.
album.
Yeah, that's the next one. That's a pretty good name.
I mean, honestly, we should write a song.
Yeah.
Fries should be bottomless.
A song at least.
You know, I might be jumping ahead, but like one of our goals when we were writing Untenable was to have a song that appealed to the crossword puzzle community. And recently we did put out a song and a crossword themed music video and a crossword puzzle. And then somebody made a crossword puzzle for us this week. So I think it was like a pretty roaring success. And I feel like maybe we should, be looking for the French fry community next, because we've already got a foothold.
David, do you want to share what the title of that crossword puzzle was?
Unsolvable.
Ooh, like untenable.
I wish I made that up, but someone else made it up.
Unsolvable. That's pretty good. I saw that you were promoting that. Is it like you can go to the Bad Moves Instagram and Twitter and find it. I have their handle up above me, up above the logo there. It says Bad Moves DC. So you can follow them on socials and everything. Friendly Porpoise says, I only heard about Bad Moves when this stream was announced. Listened to some singles ahead of time, and I'm looking forward to my first listen of the whole album. That's what's up. That's what I want.
Love that.
I love that. Hell yeah. Okay, I think it's time to pull up a streaming service of your choice. Bye, daoud.
Sorry, there was a cat doing a very cute but distracting thing in my household.
Sure. Yeah, I got a lot of cats around. They've sometimes I had one of our cats unplugged my camera for one of these streams once.
That's rude.
It was a good time. Okay, so pull up your streaming platforms, everybody. Do your business. This is for you too, audience. Primarily you, in fact. Because if I'm not synced up and if me and Bad Moves don't have our stuff together, that's a little bit more of a problem. Because I sent a huge paragraph. I sent a huge paragraph to everybody who's on the show, and they go, "Thanks for all of the information. It's too much." No one's ever said that. Don't worry.
No one in this band has ever said that, I guarantee you.
You gave us too much information. We're too prepared now. I would like to be more in the dark, please. What are we all using today? I'm using the Green Music app. Anybody using the crunch out of the fruit? Anyone got that one going?
I'm on the Green Music app. I'm afraid.
I too am on the Green Music app.
I prefer not to say.
Wow. Ooh, starting the stream off mysterious. I like it.
It's got some open source,
That's right. I only listen to OGG Vorbis files.
Yeah, shout out to anybody who's pulling this up on Deezer. I always hear about Deezer. I don't know anybody who uses it.
It is a funny thing about doing digital distribution is that you see all of the stores that you're syndicating to, and you're like, that one is made up.
Yeah.
There's no way that's real.
I think it's only on Roku.
Oh.
I don't know if that's true. But I feel like you open a Roku and you're like, what the hell are all these channels?
Yeah. I heard about it on Alta Vista.
Oh. Anyone listening on LimeWire today? No. Okay. All right. I've stalled long enough. Are you all prepared? Are you ready?
My pointer is hovering over the play button.
I'm so prepared.
I'm there we go. I had a hard time. Oh, everything's going to be weird. I'm sorry, everybody. It's going to be weird. It's probably overdone being weird now, but overdone being weird. All right. I just want to say Untenable, very good. When I first found all of you, I actually listened to I'm trying to type in Bad Moves in my Green Music app, and it just brought up Bo Burnham. We get it.
Kind of the same.
Yeah, kind of exactly the same if you really think about it. Anyway, what was I about to say? Well, yeah, so when I first found all of you, I had actually listened to Tell No One and Untenable like back to back. And I was like, wow, these two albums are like go great together. They're so great to listen to back, honestly.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you.
That's great.
I don't know
news.
if I've done that.
Yeah.
All right, let me see here. Let me get that back to 0. Okay, I'll hover over the play button. Audience, you've had enough time. I've done the maximum amount of stalling here. The last thing I'm going to do is you can see on the screen here, it says, what's happening. Listen to music, no negativity, no criticism, constructive or otherwise. Check out the band yourself, just vibe, ! Listen, again in the chat. And as far as constructive criticism is concerned or that kind of thing, I find that extremely valuable, essential, necessary to art. But today, we're just here I'm going to gush. I'm going to talk about all the things I love. And I especially don't want anybody saying mean things in the chat. They're not going to appear on screen, but I just don't want to read them myself. So if you're not vibing, if you're not digging it, just leave. don't say anything. And so far we hadn't had a problem with that, and I really appreciate everybody here. Yeah. I'm listening on my Samsung smart fridge. That's pretty cool. Says Gamer1. Okay. All right. At the bottom of the screen, you will see that I have captured my green music app screen. You will be able to see what song we are on and where we are in that song. If you are listening along and at some point you get off for whatever reason, you can go back and look at that and try to sync back up again. And that goes for like if you're watching this on YouTube later or whatever as well. But I think we'll start. This is Untenable by Bad Moves. The first song is Local Radio, and I'll be saying the song titles as we go, if I remember. Because historically I say that I'm going to do it, and then I keep forgetting. So again, Untenable, Bad Moves, first song, Local Radio. Are you all ready? Okay, some healthy nods. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
It starts with daoud.
I accidentally played the wrong song first.
Do you want to restart?
No. I'm sure I'm near you guys.
It's true. I got the first word. I guess the thing I can say about this right away is that we didn't know for a while like how the parts of this song were going to fit together, and the drum beat that you hear is like a linear part, meaning that for large parts of it, it's one drum being hit at a time. So if you listen during the verses, it's like kick, tom, snare, tom, kick, tom, snare, tom, without overlapping. And it means when you get into parts like what I imagine you just heard, that kind of like chorus, pre-chorus bit, then things start to feel a little bit locked in. But like when you're not, it's a little bit kind of like disorienting, wibbly wobbly.
Wow. I don't think I've noticed that, and I've listened to this album like 20 times.
I don't know that I knew that, and I made this album.
I think the thing to say about this song lyrically is that there was a initiative on the ballot in Washington, D.C. to give tipped workers a full minimum wage. And there was a very aggressive campaign by the restaurant industry to keep tipped workers from getting the full minimum wage, as opposed to the tipped minimum wage where you just get like $2 plus tips. And I have worked in restaurants and bars for a long time and had a lot of strong feelings about it, and a lot of that bled into this song.
That is actually one thing for sure that I wanted to mention while we were on stream, is like I really appreciate how absolutely outwardly like punk and political all of your music is.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's
Nobody knows what to say.
I think that it's
Yes.
hard. I think that it's hard to write political music. Oh, this transition here though. This is Night Terrors. That is a great transition between those two songs.
Oh, now you're about to hear all the roller coaster sounds.
Oh yeah, roller coaster.
That was like a kind of a vibe that David had in mind for a really long time, and like voiced it, but I think everyone else in the band was like, oh yeah, David's weird idea about the woos in the background, I'm sure that's not going to happen. It was like the last thing that we recorded with the vocals.
I had listened to a Tropical Fuck Storm cover of Missy Elliott's song in which there was wooing, and I was like, there absolutely has to be this kind of wooing on a record somewhere.
It was fun
also,
to do.
Happy to hear that you appreciated the transition, because we did like change the key of local radio so that we could have a dope seamless transition.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, oftentimes I wouldn't even notice that the song switched.
I love that. Feels very gratifying.
It's true. It's always a pain to deal with, but I feel like the transition from track 1 to track 2 is like pretty clutch. It's like up there with like the first couple of seconds of track 1 or the first couple of seconds of like side 2, like stuff like that. It's sort of one of those pivotal moments where you decide if you're in it or not.
Oh yeah.
I love a record that kind of just like,
yeah, go ahead.
You just kind of like tumble into. You're like, oh, we're in the record. You know, it's like it's not just one song that I'm listening to. It's like gonna pull you into the rest of the record. I think that's a fun thing.
Yeah, and it is also like a way of acknowledging like this isn't just going to be a collection of songs. Like you're about to experience an album in full. Like,
hell yeah.
It's also this riff is so good.
It's wild to be reminded of how like when we first started playing this song, it just seemed like this like kind of an unsolvable puzzle. Like it's like Katie had all these ideas that they had brought in about like what the separate sections were going to do and how they were going to fit together. But man, we had to like spin that Rubik's Cube a lot before it started to come together. We still haven't totally figured out how to do it live.
Yeah, it also started as like a very quiet, like basement demo with whispery vocals. So it's funny to see how much it changed.
Yeah, I feel like we were stuck, and at some point we were like, what if we just completely changed the verses to be something really different? And that kind of unlocked it.
Wow. And this is Party with the Kids Who Want to Party With You. Someone asked earlier, Gamer1 asked, like, which members do vocals? I know this is you, David.
Right now it's me, but so far it's been everybody.
Yeah.
Who is the
Sometimes
main vocalist on the
once.
verses on the last one?
On the last one, that was me.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool. Great.
But yeah, we're always switching it up. Also, while we're on this song, I want to say, you probably can't see that well, but I decorated with the Party with the Kids Who Want to Party With You, like bunting that's in our music video for this song. Someone asked, did you mean for the first two songs to be exactly the same length? Are they?
No, but they are in the same tempo too. Which I remember when we were in the studio, kind of like kept trying to figure out the what the tempo was going to be, and we ended up like sticking with the same one on those two, and yeah. twin assault.
They're both 240. I never noticed that.
Yeah.
Wait, Spotify says 239. For
Oh,
me.
really?
Yeah, well, they both say 239 for me, too.
Interesting.
What
Okay,
app
so
is daoud on?
Oh, this part of the song is one of my favorite parts of the record.
Wait for this next moment real quick because we have a small story about it. Let's do the transition. The drop, I was really insistent that there not be a cymbal lagging over in the drop, but Daoud only has 2 hands.
I have 2 hands. What do you want from me?
So the studio intern was a nice fellow named Jasper who has a good band called Nagasaki Swim, and he obliged us by standing in the room with us and catching the cymbal every time we did that take.
Wearing like work gloves, so it was like extra
and just
quiet.
being like very focused until we got to the part.
Wait, did you track all of the instruments together?
We did, but we did scratch guitars with the drum tracks, but
Sure.
everything was overdubbed afterwards.
Okay, cool. That's what I was wondering about.
I guess I should just say that this was the long culmination of rants that I wanted to get out of my system. And I feel like it went pretty well. I don't need to get into all the various points, but I feel like I crammed a lot in, and it was a good catharsis to have this song out in the world when it came out.
Who do you have a primary songwriter, like lyrically?
We switch it up song to song.
Great. I mean, it's pretty seamless.
Some songs end up being kind of like multiple people working on them together, and other songs it's like more like this one. I think David pretty much kind of like wrote it and demoed it before we all started working on it together. By this one, I mean Party with the Kids.
And now we're on to Cape Henlopen. Is that correct?
I think this might be Cape Henlopen, yeah.
Yeah.
This one might be my favorite song on the record.
Ooh.
Maybe. But there's also other songs that might be my favorite song on the record.
It felt very different for us. I mean, I think it's, we'd had an idea like at the outset, especially once we had what felt like sort of like a critical mass of songs, that this would be a little bit more of like a post-punky kind of record. But figuring out like exactly what that would mean in execution, especially when you're dealing with 4 people who just sort of like, kind of like have pop music in their blood and kind of can't resist like the urge to or always sort of return to that home base, like figuring out what the middle ground between that is going to be was pretty cool.
Yeah. This does feel like kind of a moment on the earlier part of the record, especially with the way it starts.
Yeah, there's that opening drum fill. I think I had to do kind of like a buffet. I think it was we like tracked it like last or like late in the night, and I think it was like everybody sitting in the control room and me being like, okay, how about this? No, that's close. Maybe put the snare hit a little later. Okay, how about this? And doing that like 20 times in a row until we had the one that we liked.
And I think we referred to it as like, we want the drum fill to sound like it's falling down the stairs.
Yes.
There's a couple of falling down the stairs drum moments on the record. This hook right now is one of 2 parts on the record that I dreamed before it was a song. It had different lyrics in my dream, but like even just like me and Katie singing the first 3 lines together and Katie singing the 3rd line was like explicitly from a dream.
Wow.
I also really like this drop right here. I feel like we did a good job of making it sound big.
It starts to sound really spooky there. I think it's just like those harmonies in the background they're not like out of nowhere. They're just following the chords, but you hear them all together and it sounds it's a little otherworldly. I don't think we did that on purpose, but we liked it.
I think one of the reasons this song feels so like close to my heart too is that one of the lyrics was kind of like developed from something that I wrote down, like, I think in 2013 or something. It was like I don't know, something I jotted down in a notebook, and then it was not phrased exactly, but it's like, you're not afraid of the way that you feel, but the way that you're seen in your body. And I just like jotted that down and was like, this will come up at some point.
Mhm.
And it just feels really gratifying to have it out on a record in this song that I really like.
Yeah.
Merged with David's dream.
Merged with David's dream. I will say I love the way y'all talk about music, because it's very refreshing. It's like to just like flat out say like this is a song that genuinely came to you in a dream is pretty. It's not something you hear very often.
David has a whole thing about that.
So this one is Toward Crescent Park. I didn't get to say this in the last song. I really love that low, like almost one note riff.
On the guitar?
On the guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love that so much.
Love playing a riff that's really just one note. I love it.
Lots of poppy drones on this record. I feel like we did a good job. My guitar part, which isn't that guitar part on Cape Hamilton, was the last thing that we recorded. It was like we just didn't have time to write a guitar part, and like just tried a bunch of different things in the studio with Joe Reinhardt, who produced the record, and just being like, no, not that, this. It was fun.
Speaking of riffs, dome, bo-do-dome. The tone on that.
Oh man, gotta throw it back to Joe again for the guitar tone. Like, there's a few like riffs on here that he like just like busted out a weird busted ass guitar. And he's like, we're gonna do this one on the weird guitar. It's like, all right.
Is this on the baritone guitar or something else?
I don't know. Might have been. There was like a weird busted acoustic guitar that's kind of all over the record.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was that.
Not the baritone, yeah.
I remember writing that riff fondly. I remember being in the basement with you, Katie, when you're showing me that song and just kind of like being like, what about this cowboy riff?
This one might be my favorite. I think it's
really?
It's got a lot to it.
Oh.
I mean, I love when I get to sing with Katie, because we do so much musical chairs in terms of who's singing what and when, but I think there's something about my and Katie's voices that feels very natural, even if we're just doing unison or like octaves, where we don't have to work that hard to make it sound nice. But also this, like the just that weird like dotted quarter note thing, like that's so much fun. The verses have a nice turnaround where, like, if you really listen to the kick drum for the first verse and the first half of the second verse, the kick is following the bass, and then it like locks into just like, oh wait,
it's the punk part.
Sacred moment.
Yeah.
it's just like so many like little moments like that. I don't know. I find this one to be a very gratifying listen.
Yeah.
A little insight to our obsessiveness is like where the break ends and the drums come back in. We probably tried that in every like different arrangement to be like, does it come in here? Does it come in here? Does it come in here?
Yeah.
This one is Working for Free. I do want to say on the last song, I think with daoud, to your point, I think it has one of the most satisfying like verse to chorus moments out of all of the songs on the record. It just like the verse comes down so far and it's like so nice and like just this like soft, and then the chorus just like, especially with that cowboy riff, just kind of hits you, and it's awesome.
It's good to hear. We tried a lot of different versions of how to do a drum fill from the verse into the chorus, and in the end we decided no drum fill was the way to go. So it's very basic, but I think it's like everything else is kind of doing the work.
Yeah, it's really, really effective. I think that's a great choice. It worked wonderfully.
It's also the only song on the record that has 3 choruses.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of the songs don't have any choruses, so that's pretty nice to have a real sticky hook there.
I guess working for free is kind of mostly verse plus a bridge.
Yes.
The listing, the chant is kind of the chorus. Yeah, right?
I guess so.
But it doesn't stay the same.
It's so hard to do live because it's just like, it's so many words and they all rhyme with each other. And I think we have I created like a mnemonic to try to remember how to do it live, and it didn't make any sense.
Oh God, what was it?
Valapropro.
Yeah.
Valapropro.
The value, the labor, the profit, the product.
Always, ABC, always be closing. Valapropro. They teach you that in business school.
Uh-huh.
This is another song about working in a tipped industry.
Yeah.
And about how it's exploitative. And there's a little bit about unpaid interns in there too.
Yeah, we got, Moth Critter here in the chat says, I really like the song's lyrics. Like this song's lyrics.
Thank you, Moth Critter.
Love this solo too. I love a sloppy punk solo.
It's the only kind I know.
A guitar solo. I feel like another weird influence for this record for me was the Parquet Courts record, Wide Awake, and like I feel like the chanty stuff came out of that, but then like everything I ever tried to write, it came out sounding like Ted Leo instead.
Never a bad thing.
There it is.
Hey, we got title.
You
That's
said
the
it.
name of this album.
You said it. This is Muster. I love this intro, David. I love it.
Thank you.
You sound so good, and I just the way you're saying the words, I love it.
Thanks so much.
I listened to this intro so many times because there was like we get like the test pressing of the vinyl before they do the final press, and there was like a weird glitch in like at like this moment right here, and I just, oh my God, I listened to this like little bit of it 60,000 times trying to figure out if it was my record player or not.
I think we're now in the territory of songs that we wrote before like we released our first EP.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Just decided to hold on to.
That was 2016? Or
Yeah.
2015 or something? Because I know
Yeah.
the previous record was 2018 and this one's 2020, so
2016 was the first EP.
The Bad Moves EP.
We probably
Okay,
wrote
name.
this song and the next song in like 2015, and then kind of gave them a little glow up before recording them for the record.
I can't. Reaction. This unison is so good. and then
Me and
then
Daoud
going
had
in
a
for
long fight
harmony.
about
Sorry, go ahead, David.
I'm just gonna say, me and Daoud had a long fight about how long that build up should be.
Oh yeah, I was real cranky about that.
Was it too long for you?
No, I mean I think it's there's something about like the like this is a song where like it's it could come off very Spoon Boy if it were arranged differently. So I think part of like what we were doing is like how like there's a long conversation about like how do we make this a Bad Move song where like everybody feels like as locked in as possible, which I think if you listen to this outro, like I think it's like I feel like we found it.
Yeah, there's no mistaking that this outro is Bad Moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Did
yeah.
the OOs give it away?
It is weird though, like how some of the process just ends up being like math and persistence and like process of elimination. Like sometimes you really have to try like every permutation of how to, sequence, a beat or like where something is going to come in before you find the thing that feels right.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I think it's more mathematical than a lot of people think it is.
Yeah.
And this one is Fog is a Funny Thing. Also, the transition from Muster into Fog is a Funny Thing is very good as well.
We played
This was
with
a
a lot
really
of
fun
noise-making gadgets in the studio. Yeah. Oh yeah, our friend Mikey, who does the band The Goodbye Party, kind of helped us arrange this section because we're like, we need to bring somebody in to help us make it dark. And he also played bowed guitar, and Emma played cello here.
Oh, wow.
There's also, I want to say this is the, like maybe one part of the recording where we didn't have a metronome running. We just had to feel this bit out without the click track. Have Emma and Katie in another room singing the vocal, and everybody just sort of making eye contact. And then once everything's back in time, yeah. But it's weird. Sometimes you kind of can't cheat the feel. You just have to risk it.
Can't cheat the feel.
Can't cheat the feel.
That's gotta be a
Timberlake
song.
Oh, I was annoying about this song too. I was like, I can't play this fast.
I feel you.
It's hard to play things fast.
I feel like I begged to like bump it down a couple of BPM, and it's just like, it's not going to be a punk song if we do that. I was like, oh, all right.
Really setting up the image of us torturing daoud to.
No, it's not really torture. It's just I'm just a baby sometimes.
There are several Glass Beach songs where just recording them was a nightmare because they were like just out. I mean, songs we're working on right now for the next record some of them are even faster, and I'm like, stop, please, please.
That verse you just heard was a very, very late addition. The song did not have that until maybe a month or two before we hit the studio.
Oh,
yeah, because we've been playing it since 2015, like a full verse shorter. And I think Joe listened to it. He's like, write another verse. Like, all right, Joe.
You got it. This one is Same Bad Friends.
Yay. This song had many iterations. Also, yeah, still the very first demo that I heard of it, anyways. That's probably like 2015, or like I feel like me and daoud like played a show with
earlier. Yeah,
solo projects, and I went over to his apartment at the time, and like we messed around with this song for a song a day project we were both part of.
That's right. No, it was I kind of bullied David into coming along to Fredericksburg, something like that.
Finally, I'm getting bullied.
The tables have turned.
To play a show, and the trade-off was that like when we got home, we had to make a song a day song together, and that's where the hook of this song came from. That was 2014, I think. That's wild.
Oh, whoa! A song a day.
Yeah,
that I remember those. Jonas, our bass player, used to do those.
Yeah, actually, quite a few songs off this record originated from different like song a day. We used to do like a song a day thing with a bunch of other people for like a 1 month or something. And yeah, like Night Terrors, I think, came out of that. Muster, Same Bad Friends.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good way to get a bunch of like songs seeded. Even if you don't write a full song every day, you get like an idea you might come back to.
Yeah.
This song, the broad idea, I think, and we did not know this in 2014, and probably not until like, we got to like, I don't know, like until we got to like, a couple of weeks or months before the studio and the lyrics had really come together. But the idea is sort of like it's about being like the designated other in whatever social context. There's lots of ways you can take it, but I thought in particular about sort of experiences that I'd had at jobs and at school and things like that, where you just sort of kind of checking your angles and like wondering what people think about you, and you don't always know how to process praise or inclusion or things like that, because you can't tell necessarily if you're there for your own merits or because you're kind of checking a box. That's the basic idea.
That was very succinct. That's
Okay.
Checking your own your own merits or checking a box is that's a very poetic way of saying that.
It's a weird bad feeling.
And this one is Settle Into It.
This is from the Song a Day group as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This is probably the one that the most doesn't sound like Bad News, maybe.
I think when I heard the demo, I was like, this is very Built to Spill. I like how heavy it still gets, though. That's the thing. That was sort of like the strange science of it, was figuring out how we could get back to like the level of intensity and volume that the rest of the record has.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember we also we ran into a problem with the structure, and then at some point we were just like, what if we just do the guitar solo right now, like right here? There's like one verse, one chorus, guitar solo. It's fine. It's great.
It's a good move.
And this is a song where I feel like sometimes people are like, so who's your lead guitarist and who's your rhythm guitarist? And it's like, we both play guitars. But one thing I really like about kind of that dynamic in our band is that sometimes David and I get to write these parts that sort of like lock together and, lock together, diverge, go back together. And I feel like this song has some cool moments like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of bands they do a lot of like harmonizing guitar solos, and the way that I see your guitar solos or like your parts, you do a lot of like cool like counter melodies and interlocking where it's kind of orchestral in a way, the way that the guitars maneuver around each other instead of like explicitly complementing one another. I think it's really cool.
Thanks.
I like that, for maneuvering around each other. I like that.
Yeah, thinking about it now, I'm kind of almost like, I feel like we sort of ended up building that sort of dynamic in how we all sing together. And then it started coming out in the guitars too, of being like, sometimes unison, sometimes harmony, but mostly just like trying to like lock into an energy. Maybe, I don't know.
Checks out to me.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, the album's almost over.
I know.
Yeah.
I can't believe how fast we're getting through it.
Yeah, we're about to start the penultimate track here, which is called Tides.
This is the last one we wrote for the record, I think. Last one we finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This one might be in competition for my favorite song on the record, personally.
Mine also.
Nice.
I'm glad you feel that way, though.
Here's that busted acoustic guitar for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Just sounds cool.
Yeah, Emma and I had kind of had a long talk about family stuff and both having an immigrant parent and the ways that we saw parallels in kind of our family history and also the ways that they were completely different. And I think while working on this song, I was thinking a lot about just how much distance can shape your I mean, this obviously, how much distance can shape your ability to like connect with people and to like know who you are in connection to other people. And it was also happening at a time when like family separation at the US border was a thing, and like travel restrictions and things like that. And I think also Brexit, right? Take back control is a Brexit slogan. And just, yeah, I don't have a good eloquent end to that. It's not just about the distance. It's also about all of the barriers put up by society and government and people in power.
Just crammed into a 2.5-minute pop song.
Our pals Martha on David's shirt, who we're friends with, but also I think always in a way like a little bit in dialogue with, have a song called 1967, I Miss You, I'm Lonely, that is like a very sweet pop song, but that is all about like borders and how borders divide people. It feels like kind of a sister song to that.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. This is the last track, End of Time.
This is that crossword song. This is us pandering to the crossword community.
Successfully. This is the other song that I started writing in my sleep.
Also, I don't know how intentional this is, but you have like a kind of leitmotif with the like that's in other parts in the record, like that melody. Again, I don't know if that was intentional.
Totally intentional.
Just finding out about our limited palette.
Well, I think it works very well. It brings everything together. Whoa.
This one is fun to play. Especially because I think I only do I sing in some other parts, but I mostly do the woos, which is fun to sing.
I was thinking about this song, listening to it earlier today, thinking about this section particularly, which we really wanted to like sound chaotic and almost like dystopian, like the clatter of like all these like kind of clashing voices and stuff in the background, and how like the dichotomy that's offered is like maybe this all ends up fine or maybe it's the end of time, and how like it just kind of like slips from this noisy section into this kind of pretty section and like how musically that kind of feels like everything's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then we later on get noisier again. And it's like kind of asking the question, which of these things is it going to be? I think we all know it's going to be the end of time though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like the soft, like sweet sections could just be a distraction, you know?
I think it's kind of like about how like you can have this sort of like sense that everything is like dismally apocalyptic, and you're still going to like live your life through it and have your good days and your bad days, and you have a bunch of good days while everything's going to shit.
Which that's kind of the thesis statement of the record, basically.
End of the band.
So.
Yeah, we do end on the noisy part, so take that for what you will.
That's the record. We did it. We listened to it.
It's playing me something else now.
Yeah, sorry. Al Gore's rhythm took control over.
Mine just started local radio again.
I intentionally paused mine because this has happened because mine actually shows up on screen. So whatever
Yeah.
plays next, like everyone's like, there it is. That's what it is. Yeah, I think the last thing that I did want to ask about is the song. The final song is called "End of Time." When you were writing it, did you know it was going to be the last song?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like we do kind of. I feel like we'll get our songs to a certain point, and like when we're making a record, we're like, I know we wrote Local Radio being like, this will be the opener. At some point, we decided End of Time was going to be the end, and I think we like wrote the outro to End of Time with that in mind, to be like, it's got to feel like final.
Yeah.
I think also the title changed after we had already sequenced it.
That's true. We hadn't titled it, so then we were like, is this called Good Time or is it called End of Time? And End of Time makes more sense for a closer. So
Sure.
Yeah, we used to call it Good Time. Isn't a good name for this song.
Well, I think also in the dream, the only lyric that we kept was still having a good time. So like for a while, it was just like still having a good time, mana, mana, blah, blah, blah. You know, just didn't know what it was going to be yet.
Yeah.
I will say it's we for both records they've been like sequenced, you know, like before they were recorded, very much like sort of arranged and demoed with a set sequence in mind, which is something that like for a lot of my like I don't know my younger music making life just seemed sort of impossible. I kind of had come to things from the idea of just like, well, you write enough songs, you get to, you know, a critical mass to make a record, and then you record a bunch of them, and some of them work and some of them don't, and you just put them into the order that feels like it makes sense. But now I kind of can't imagine it doing it any other way. Certainly for an LP, it kind of feels like you kind of want to know what you're getting into before you put anything on tape.
Wow. Yeah. I'm thinking right now with like the way that I've always done records, and before being in Glass Beach, it was very much a like just write a bunch of songs and slap some stuff together, and then like I mean, of course I would think about like sequencing. I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, you know, this sounds good right after this, and this sounds good right before this, and whatever. But then joining Glass Beach, Jay and even Jonas like are pretty meticulous even during the writing process of like, I've written this song and now I've begun this one and it sounds like it would be really good to come right after this one or something. So I'm going to start writing it with that in mind, or that kind of a thing. And then the sequence kind of comes out of the writing process as well.
I think so. Yeah. I think part of it's you sort of set yourself a creative constraint. So it's like, it's not like you could just keep writing forever and ever. It makes some things harder. It really is like, I mean, it's a big headache, like, while, you know, in the midst of the process, but everything just feels like it makes so much more sense. I feel like we don't have those moments, or we haven't had those moments where you're just sort of like looking at like a pile of half recorded songs and you're like, I don't know what to do with this, which is something that's happened to me before.
Yeah. I feel you. I've got songs from 10 years ago that I still haven't done anything with. Songs that I like.
Yeah, someday they'll find their time. They'll find their moment.
I mean, you keep them in your back pocket. I feel like we were talking about, like this record had like a good handful of them that we just kind of sat on for like 5 years, and then we're like, seems like the time for it.
Yeah. I just want to say let's see, Broke Royal said Stone Cold Classic. Friendly Porpoise said enjoyed my first listen, won't be my last.
Shout out to Broke Royals. Some cool guys.
And with the not being the last listen, I will say exclamation point listen. Again, I just want to say exclamation point listen in the chat. We'll bring you to Bad Moves Bandcamp. If you liked what you heard today, you have a little bit of money, like if you got the means, I would encourage you to purchase the record. And you have merch, right? Or are you on a bit of a merch
I think
break
if you go to the Don Giovanni website, you can buy a t-shirt and a Hunex sweatshirt.
Okay, cool. Because this is an old one. Like not an old one, but like
that T-shirt is the scrap heap that is referenced in the first song, Local Radio.
Oh, cool! I didn't realize that actually. That's funny.
It was a kind of the artist who did the cover art, our friend Sarah. It was like one of her ideas for cover art that we didn't end up going with, but we're like, we also kind of love it though.
Yeah. Also, the cover art for your record is phenomenal. I love that one, and also like your previous record too.
Sarah Lattman did Untenable. And that was just like a really fun process working with them. You should check out their work. They're very good at cartoons. They're a very good cartoonist.
They're very good at cartoons.
I couldn't think of the word.
Hey, that's all right. Yeah. Y'all put a lot of thought into your album covers. Like, I mean, it kind of reads like, because Tell No One also, I love that record, like the cover for that as well. So it's cool.
That was our friend Josh McPhee, who it was quite an honor to work with as a fan of his art for a very long time.
Oh. Wookie Schmutz says you're awesome. Pretty much everything David is involved in is amazing. And then Jacob Village also says, that was such a great record. Thank you so much for the stream. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I mean, because like my purpose for these streams is, well, partly, I mean, I was going to do these regardless of if I could have like the artists on. I was going to be like, this week I'm going to listen to Untenable because I love this record. And I just wanted to partly have an excuse, I guess, to share music with people and the music that I love. And especially, I was talking about all of you with a friend of mine today before the stream, where I find your sound so energetic, and the way that you write music and like albums in general is just so effective, and it's and just something that really scratches an itch for me personally in a way that I think it would for a lot of other people. So any way that I can introduce you to other people who might find that you scratch that itch for them as well, that's something that I would like to do.
Well, you're very good at sharing music with people in cool ways. I think so.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Any last things y'all want to say? Because I think we can wrap up now if you're good.
I'll do a quick promo of a YouTube video that we put up of our live stream from last year when we did our record release. And it features a bunch of our friends. Try to remember them all. Martha and that's what happens at the end of the music video too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Bartiz also did a set for that.
Yeah, well? Martha, Bartiz, Adult Mom, Nana Grizzle, Oceanator, Cheek Face, and Jeff Rosenstock. They all did sets on our live stream, and we also played games with all of them, and you can watch it on the Bad Moves YouTube channel, which I made today.
Which you made today. Cool. I mean, Glass Beach, Jonas, if you're still available, you tweeted it out, and it's also on your Instagram, but if you could find a link to that, we could put that in chat really quick. Yeah. I mean, that's any other promo things? I mean, I suppose this record was from 2020. I can't imagine you have. I don't know. Maybe you're like, yeah, we got another record coming out. No, it's all good.
I've been working on a recording project that is going to be called Dim Wizard, and in a couple weeks I'm going to put out a Dim Wizard single.
Oh, cool!
So you can look out for that. It's a collaboration with a few friends that we did long distance.
And was that just like throughout the entire pandemic?
Yeah, through like the second half of the pandemic or so, I like was sending a bunch of files back and forth with folks, and I'm slowly kind of getting it all into shape to share with the world. But for now, it's just gonna be one song.
Okay,
It
cool.
slaps.
And it slaps. Okay, Daoud, Katie, anything on your ends?
I don't think I have anything really to promo, but I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who listened along with us. Like, this was just really fun, and I'm glad that for some people it was like the first time you got to listen to this record. That's awesome. So yeah, thanks for listening, and also thanks, William.
I think the same thing.
Wonderful. Okay. I think I'm gonna go. This is a direct link. We got a link in the chat for your live stream. So we got that in there.
Sweet.
Check that out. I'm
One
gonna go
year
back
ago today.
a year ago today. That's right. And we planned it and everything. And it was all a part of the plan. I'm going to go to talk screen. They won't be able to see you anymore, but they will be able to hear you still. You'll have one final chance to say goodbye. But say goodbye to the images of bad moves, everybody. And as they wave goodbye, I turn to the talk screen here. So thank you again. This has been another listen along. Again, next week I'm going to have Left at London on to cover TIAPYFH, I think, something like that. I don't know. It's a very long acronym. But then after that, I'm going to have McKinley Dixon on. And then after that, what are the dates? If I could look at the dates in front of me, I might be able to tell you who I have. I'll just, who was I messaging? I'm so lost right now. So it would be the 17th. Who was it? Oh, that's right. It was Backwash. Yeah, so I'm having Left at London, and then the next Saturday after that, I am having McKinley Dixon, and then the Saturday after that, I believe, the Saturday after that, I should say, I'm having Backwash. That's all right. I can't guarantee it, but I know the next two I Backwash, and then right now I'm talking to Origami Angel to come back on to do Gami Gang, which should be the 31st, actually, I believe. So they'll be the end of July, and then I'm currently talking to Arcadia Gray to come on and start up August as well. So that should be fun. A lot of cool bands. Looking forward to that. Again, you can see all of the previous listen-alongs in the playlist to listen along on the Second Glass Beach channel on YouTube. All of the artists that I've had on so far, every album that I've covered, I have been very fortunate and lucky to have the artists who created it on to listen along and talk about the record with me. This has been very, very fun. I feel very fortunate to have so many people that I am connected to that are connected to other cool people who can get me in touch, and we can do this kind of thing. So thank you again to Bad Moves. I really appreciated you being on. It was cool to see all of you again through a stream.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
And tell them I said hi.
Oh.
and that they are missed. And I think that's it. We'll be back next week, Left at London again, and have a good rest of your week. The final thing I want to say is Good Noise Podcast is hosting a big 2-day virtual fest right now. It's currently happening, so go check that out. Good Noise, their Twitch channel. It's Good Noise Podcast, and we have Glass Beach is performing tonight as well. And there's there's 60 some bands on this thing, and they're all incredible. I mean, we've got I think Blue Deputy just started at just after noon, which I love Blue Deputy, so I'll check out the VOD of that as well. But Hoity Toity, An Adult Mom, and us, Glass Beach, and there are just so many incredible bands. It's happening pretty much all day today and tomorrow, so check that out. That's it. Okay. Thanks again, Bad Moves. Thanks, everybody. See you next Saturday for another listen along. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.